Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. Wow, how things change in a period of just a few hours. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late getting up on the air tonight, but I am simulcasting on Rumble and UTizzle, and we're going to discuss this Israeli strike on Iran and what the implications are, the communications that were going on just prior to the strike. And what was going to be the theme of my broadcast was illegal psychological warfare campaign collaborators, one of which we saw today, a theater with some unknown senator having an outburst. So we're going to get into all that. But while everyone files in, I'm going to put up a video and a intro videos for people to get into the chats. And if you're not subscribed, think about subscribing so you won't know when I go live, so you can participate in the chats or just watch the chats go by. This video, I want you all to think about what happened in Ruski land. And my theme picture is Mr. T's screenshot on his personal telephone. You see what I see, 911. And remember, these drones are easily concealed, easily transported, and can be guided over the internet. Something to think about as we go on with our broadcast.
Ukrainian engineers designed a clever drone launching system disguised as ordinary wooden cabins mounted on the backs of cargo trucks. These mobile containers looked like simple rural sheds, but inside they held reinforced structures, hidden launch platforms, battery charging stations, and remote-controlled roof mechanisms. The design allowed for drones to be launched either vertically or at an angle, depending on their type, while built-in signal shielding helped them avoid early detection by Russian surveillance. Once these mobile silos were ready, Ukrainian intelligence operatives, possibly with help from local sympathizers, moved them deep into Russian territory. The trucks were quietly driven to pre-selected sites near key airbases, parked in places like forests, farms, or industrial areas where they blended into the landscape. They remained dormant for days or even weeks, with drones preloaded, charged, and waiting for the command to strike. When the time came, encrypted activation signals were sent remotely. The roofs of the containers slid open and the drones lifted off, some vertically, others using ramps or compressed air launch systems for a silent start. Because the launch sites were positioned just a few kilometers around 2 miles from their targets, the drones were able to reach their objectives quickly, leaving little time for Russian defenses to react. Operators guided them in real time using live video feeds, steering the drones with precision toward parked aircraft, fuel depots, and radar installations.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
And he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off. Payback time.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and HE in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time. He could have jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you all are doing well. I played that video because I want you to think of the claimed 20 million people that entered this country, and we don't know who they are, where they came from. If even 1%, do the math in your head, 1% were trained operatives with nefarious intentions, how many people would that be? And what could they do with rudimentary design knowledge after what you saw in the video I just played? What could they do to nuclear facilities or all types of things in the interior of the United States? Our food supply, our military bases, any number of things that you could look at and see. Our leadership, our Congress. So, yeah, we're in perilous times. But as you know, Israel has struck, and I was watching Netanyahu's address. I have a video of one of his commanders making a statement, making the announcement of the attack on Iran's nuclear facility. But Netanyahu, I didn't have time to record his address and upload it and do a little bit of editing and all that. I never got up tonight. But he said something that applies to our nation. Never again is right now. How many times have we heard Mr. T say that this can never happen again? And he was discussing the destruction of our culture, our financial institutions, the value of our dollar, trade deficits, the destruction of the legacy that your parents could leave to you, your grandparents could have left to your parents, and how you spent a lifetime on a hamster wheel, constantly working and constantly paying into a machine that was being run by the silent thieves. The silent thieves who are funneling your money away from you and away from your country and away from your loved ones, away from your ideals, weakening your ability to achieve happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That can never happen again. Also, what you see on the screen with Donald Trump's telephone, what happened that day, can never happen again. Where our nation is blindsided. Blindsided. What happened with our economy being shut down? Our society being divided? Psychological terror operations that crippled our economy, ousted a sitting president, crippled him for the last 2 years of his presidency from instituting policies that would dismantle what some call a cabal, some call a deep state, whatever they want to call it. It's a criminal organization with roots that go back centuries. The big club that we're not in. Although Netanyahu may have been referring, definitely in part, to what happened during World War II to the Jewish people. Never again applies to a great many happenstances over time. To civilized nations, we must make sure they never happen again. From 9/11 to the COVID vaccination to the Holocaust to the looting and pillaging of average day citizens. So, Sissy, how you doing? Angel, how are you? Tank, nice to see you. Colette, Sherry, Lucky, Melinda, Darla, Debbie, Joyce, nice to see you. Flannel Cheese. My speech, I don't know. Hi, Rebecca. Let's see. Todd's here. Andrew's here. Kathy's here. Colette's here. Saving Israel for last. Yes. Yes, that was another thing. I actually wrote that down as a note. Hi, Wayne. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Whoa, come on, chat. Scroll for me. Kim's here. Kathy's here. Bush is here. David's here. Gloria. Nice to see you. Wanda. All right. Yes. Hi, MS Motorsports. Nice to see you. So, you know how the left loves to be victims. And they don't even realize how badly they've really been victimized, along with all of us. So here's Jesse Waters. I'll go ahead and play him a very short clip discussing what happened with Israel and Iran. And as I talk, I'm sure there will be development.
Were reported in Tehran, the capital, which would be a big escalation in the war in the Middle East. Axios is reporting that Israel is also bracing for a retaliatory strike. Israel is declaring a special state of emergency across the country. And Axios had also reported that Trump had refused U.S. participation. We'll keep you updated as we hear more.
Okay, so here was Trump. Trump was appearing pensive. I've got a set of clips from him. Where he was saying that he would prefer that Israel not strike. That he said in some ways it could help bring them to the bargaining table, but in other ways it would harm, and he would rather not resort to that. But yesterday I had put a video out where he had told them at several embassies to clear out. Now, I'm not sure the order of these clips. Let's see what he talked about. We can tackle them one at a time. He never fails to tout successes, to put forth positive news for people to consider. Even wow, we've got, in some ways, the world seemed to be on a knife's edge. But that's the way the deep state always wants to play it, right? That's the way they always want us to feel with their endless wars and their constant inflationary behaviors and their grants and their slush funds and the nation's going to go broke and the government's going to close. We're going to be at war. Trump's always putting something out there showing that there's a path, another way. But anyway, I don't know what this clip is. We shall see. I've got 3 clips from the same address, so we'll see.
U.S. auto industry from destruction by terminating the California electric vehicle mandate once and for all. They said it couldn't be done, but boy, it's had us tied up in knots for years. And they'd pass these crazy rules in California, and it would be 17 states would go by them. The automakers didn't know what to do because they're really building cars for two countries. When you have 17 states, you're building cars for two countries. And I want to congratulate you all, the Senate, the House, the whole thing.
And he's given kudos to both parties. But I will say that one of the pillars of the temple of thieves, I'll put it that way, that's holding up their ability to control our society and deny us our resources is the climate change hoax. The climate change hoax. Are we going to see judges step in? They're not looking at laws and trying to interpret. They're trying to make laws. They figure if they can't impeach Trump, they will impede him on everything they do. Impede rather than impeach is where they've gotten to. So anyone with an 8th grade education who paid attention in biology knows that their greenhouse gas hoax is exactly that, a hoax. But anyway, one of the many ways they manipulate people psychologically, they instill fear, and they control resources. So Trump's done away with the mandate. We'll see if these operatives, these judicial operatives, these collaborators, those who are collaborating with these illegal psychological warfare campaigns, try to stop his getting rid of the electric vehicle mandate to go along with the 15-minute cities. Most of you know what I'm talking about. Let's see what this clip says.
There are several No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What do they call it? No king?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him. He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off, and after years we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's the next one. The in this moment mantra they want to push. No one is a king that they want to push. Mockingbird media is just one part of the illegal psychological warfare campaign they've been running on us for years. We now have judges participating in this king talk. Gavin Newsom was suing to get the National Guard back under his control, his do-nothing control. And one thing during oral arguments I was listening to today, where the judge scheduled for a hearing, which he has no jurisdiction over, whether President Trump takes control of the National Guard during a state of emergency, he still takes a position that him or any other of right now 740 some odd judges all around the country can constantly nitpick and second guess military deployment, states of emergency, presidential proclamations, and things of that ilk. And one of the things that he said during oral arguments was that this country tried to get away from King George. We don't need any more kings. So he's on board with this propaganda thread, along with the usual suspects like ABC News. I saw the other day before yesterday, Rachel Madcow on MSDNC, putting up a poster, a banner, or whatever you want to call it, telling their viewers where they go for the protests, when they're going to be held. And then you have ABC News. This isn't ABC News. This is another bunch. One of these I consider to be launched, financed, supported by NGOs, algorithms, okay? Now this impact. They say it only takes 3.5% of the population participating to stop a dictator. These are all the protests scheduled for No King's Day. Studies show it only takes 3.5% of the population to spark political change. The 3.5% rule, citing examples like peaceful protests. When the hell have you seen a peaceful protest? Ending dictatorial regimes in the Philippines, Georgia, Sudan, and Algeria. Probably the CIA involved in every single one of them, the black hats. And you'll be seeing that going on here in our country because we're going through a color revolution, purple revolution. While Trump threatens protesters, he threatens them as he plans an elaborate birthday parade for himself. There's got to be a nexus where all these individuals are coming up with every kind of distraction, every kind of chant or bit of propaganda that they can repeat like parakeets. Nearly half the country is covered with planned protests for the No King's March, with demonstrations set for almost 2,000 locations. This is expected to be the largest single-day mobilization since Trump returned to office. Well, we shall see. Will it fall flat on his face? Will it fall flat on his face? Here's another clip from the same, I believe this might have something to do with Iran. I don't know. We shall see. Let me get my mic off.
Seeing him again, and I looked at him, and they had windmills all over him, these horrible, horrible structures. He's a very smart guy, this guy. He said these ugly, horrible things.
Once again, we're back to the climate change hoax and how the government is supposedly, air quotes, investing in alternative energy where their buddies and relatives and backdoor deals, they get billions and billions of dollars for these dopey windmills, solar projects, funding local governments. Again, the grift and the money being funneled away and put in the slush funds, overcharging all the way down to the local level. Trump is addressing its junk technology for what they're trying to accomplish and describing how these things are falling apart and destroying the vistas and the beauty of our land and the most expensive energy you can get.
Drove back to see it because I couldn't believe it. Before I even got to my mother, I drove back. I said, "How much do you like your mother?" But no, it hurt him to see it. He said, "I looked at this field that was one of the most beautiful places in my own mind and imagination that I've ever seen." And I said, "It's littered with this garbage." It looked like a junkyard, he said. And some, then you get different manufacturers, and they don't look alike, and they're not painted alike, different colors. You have, even if they're white, one's a beigey white, one's a darker white, one's a lighter white. And then they start to rust after 4 or 5 years. And then they start to wear out. and nobody takes them because you're not allowed to bury the propellers, the props, right? You can't bury the props for some reason. I don't know why, but they say that you can't bury a certain type of fiber, and if it goes in the ground, we're all going to die. It's what bullshit this is, okay? They can't bury. So what they do is they leave them up. If you go to Palm Springs, California, take a look. You go into this beautiful community. Before you go, it's like you're riding through a junkyard. Windmills all over the place. Tall ones, short ones, dead ones. They're all dead. Some are hanging over by a thread. They never take them down. They just leave them there, and they start to rust. It's one of the greatest scams, and it's also the most expensive energy. And the environmentalists say, oh, we love wind. It sounds so good, but it's a horrible thing. Environmentally, it's a horrible thing. I say that to you. It's wind, and we are going to have virtually no, one mandate we have, we're going to natural gas, nuclear. Nuclear, we just had a big signing with nuclear, making it easier, safer, and better. It's really, I would say, probably more than any other form of energy that's come about. It's been amazing what's been done. It's very safe, very good, and very inexpensive. But we're not going to let windmills get built because we're not going to destroy our country any further than it's already been destroyed. You go and look at these beautiful plains and valleys, and they're loaded up with this garbage that gets worse and worse looking with time. It starts when the rust comes. 4.5 years, it starts to rust. And it's very expensive to paint them. So they don't paint them, and they're horrible. What's happened is horrible, so we're not going to approve windmills unless something happens that's an emergency. I guess it could happen, but we're not doing any of them. I hope the Senate will soon pass a bill the House can quickly approve and get to my desk by the 4th of July. We'll have this done. And to further defend our auto workers, I imposed a 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles. Investment in American auto manufacturing is surging because of it. They have Mercedes all over. They pay 25% if they don't make the car in the United States. And because of that, and this could have been done long before Trump. This could have been done by any one of the presidents. I did it with China. The reason you don't have Chinese cars here is because I imposed it my last term. I actually asked the question. I said, do we have any Chinese cars here? No. Why? Because you imposed a 25 or 27.5% tariff on Chinese cars. So they're not coming here, but they are going to Europe all over the place. But I love China. We just made a deal, and I respect President Xi a lot. And we made a deal that's good for both countries. The deal we made with China, good for both countries. Going to be a lot of money made, and it's going to ultimately open up China, which is the ultimate thing. And I'm going to be working with President Xi. We had a long talk about it. And that's going to be good for China. It's going to be good for us. But we're going to be opening up China. That's bigger than what we signed. And I think had we not signed it, that wouldn't be happening. It's going to happen. It's going to happen fairly soon. But to further defend our auto workers, I imposed this 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles and investment in American manufacturing and auto manufacturing. All manufacturing is surging. And I might go up with that tariff in the not-too-distant future. The higher you go, the more likely it is they build a plant here. Ford has just announced that it's going to invest $500 million in some of the things involved in what we just did. General Motors is going to spend $4 billion. They just announced that yesterday. Stellantis announced that it's going to reopen its Belvidere assembly plant. That's good. I know the plant very well. Had a lot of problems. They're going to spend $5 billion. And Hyundai announced that it will invest $21 billion in America. They wouldn't have invested 10 cents if we didn't have tariffs, including for manufacturing American steel, which is doing great. American steel is doing great now because of what we did. You wouldn't have, if I didn't put tariffs on steel, they were dumping steel. China and a lot of other countries were dumping steel in our country. Garbage steel, dirty steel, bad steel, not structurally sound steel, real garbage, but it was still there, lots of it. And if I didn't put tariffs, I put 25 and 50% tariffs on steel, right? John James, we put tariffs on steel, and we were doing great with steel. Now we're really doing great. A big investment is being made in Pennsylvania, you've been reading about it. They're going to spend $17 billion on U.S. steel. And all the steel workers wanted it. And we have a golden stock. We have a golden share, which I control or president controls. Now, I'm a little concerned whoever the president might be, but that gives you total control. It's 51% ownership by Americans. And we have a company, a great company, Nippon. They're coming in from Japan. They're going to spend $17 billion. And somebody said, well, what happens if it doesn't work out? I said, they spent $17 billion. We can't put it on a trailer and drive it to Japan. This is a steel mill. You know, some businesses you can move. You move your office, and that's where the business is. With this business, they're spending think of that, $17 billion. They're going to have them all over the country. I want to introduce several.
So, no, we don't have to worry about dirty steel, junk steel coming to this country. Everybody having Chinese-made electric cars that can keep you in your 15-minute city and probably have technology where they can spy on the streets and listen in to everything everybody's saying. Not like they can't do that now with the cell phones, but hey, if they had vehicles all over these little towns and cities, they could eavesdrop on everybody. We could have crappy windmill junkyards everywhere that bleed us dry every time they be repaired and make the elites rich. And yeah, what a wonderful world that would have been. Not for us, though. Brush, how you doing? Annette, nice to see you. Miss Mindersoo, thank you so much for going to buy me a coffee, Miss Mindersoo. I do appreciate it. I have a link in the description if anybody wants to help a channel out. I've got it also on my Rumble description, too. So, yeah, give me a follow on Rumble. That helps the videos get around. And also hit the like button here on Utizzle and the thumbs up button on Bumble. So, Kathy's here. Let's see. Mark, nice to see you. Pappy Two Bears. Lori. Who'd I miss? Oh, Suzanne, nice to see you. All right. Well, one more. Come on. Okay. Yeah, $200 to participate in a protest. That was the thing. It was sickening listening to this. I have to see how the judge is going to rule. I am being a sad sack and saying that he's going to be part of this psychological warfare campaign where once again it'll be put out to the TDS freaks that, the judiciary is fighting Trump and his dictatorship. No kings. But then again, he may surprise us. We shall see. But when you have the president of a foreign country saying they would underwrite protesters, when you see Senate candidates putting up a map showing that they think they would own the whole southwest of the United States would go to Mexico, when they're exhorting their citizens to continue to break our laws and stay in this country, that is infiltration. That is a predatory invasion. Sorry, okay? And when you have the majority of people being arrested have no business being in this country, out in our streets raising hell, when you have the governor of the state saying unequivocally that they will not assist ICE, you have an insurrection on your hands. And the president has every right to activate the National Guard, the Marines, or whoever he thinks is necessary to quell the said invasion. Here, we don't have any problems in Florida. Why is that? How come we don't have any problems in Florida? Well, here's a Florida sheriff. What he'll tell you what he's going to do.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
What kind of sheriff do you have? Do you have a sheriff like that? If you don't, you ought to find you one. So anyway, yeah, you're either going to go to the hospital, jail, or a pine box. Remember what I said about pine box deportations? Pine box deportations. Ha ha ha. Yeah, stay out of the streets. That's exactly right. Canada's cleanup made it. Hi, Bill. Yeah, prisons, 15-minute cities. Roland, how you doing? So, yeah, talk about theater. Talk about a show. Everybody's seen this clip. Everybody's seen this clip. This moron, I didn't even know he was a U.S. senator. I said, wait a minute, is he a state senator? Who is this guy? Of course, he has to show up without his ID pin. Nobody knows who the hell he is. He's trying to approach a cabinet member, a high-level cabinet member in the Trump administration, blabbering and coming towards her. These officers don't know. The way he's dressed, he could be anything, a manager of a construction site, all the way down to some kind of protester or a hitman. Who knows? He's not identifying himself until he takes it too far. What do they call it? Disorderly conduct. Okay? He has an outburst, although he tries to act like he's calmly and rationally asking a question. He's approaching her menacingly and in defiance of these officers' commands. So I'm sure many of you have seen it. And also, when he gets around the corner, he doesn't think there's cameras. He gets compliant like a puppy.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
How many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted.
I know they took him down to the ground and cuffed him, made him get down on the ground. That's fine. We only need to see so much of it. All theater, all a show, all to support this psychological warfare campaign. Somebody put this picture of him getting cuffed on the ground, and one of his own tweets, "No one is above the law, Alex Padilla." And of course, all the news, the captured news organizations tried to say it with the proper accent. Whatever. So anyway, here's the memes are flying about this guy. Here's one here. Alex. Here you go. Trump coming through the door. No one is above the law, Sheriff. You agree. His own little tweet. They didn't do a good job on the hand coming through the door, but everybody gets the point. But the internet bots, whether they're living human beings or they're automated electronic. They're the same thing to me if they're just parroting the same words. Oh, what a disgrace. We've never seen a senator being treated so bad. And then Chuck Schumer coming out and saying the exact same things. It's coordinated, and I think it'll be proven that is exactly what I've said and what President Trump has said. It's part of an illegal psychological warfare campaign. And, of course, we're not falling for it. Look at the type of people they get to protest. What do you notice about this guy? What do you notice about this guy here? I hope that they track him and it causes him big problems. He's got an ankle monitor. He's guilty of something. He's out on probation. But it all boils down to what I've said over and over again. Who will be the judge? Is it going to be one of these activist judges that let them roam the streets with impunity? Let them walk out of the courthouse after they've had final orders of deportation so they can maintain a community. Here's another one of their protesters. Here's a caliber they've got. I apologize for the language, but look what we're dealing with, folks. Yeah, not exactly the best and brightest you could ever find. But don't worry, the liberals are all happy. Look here. Look here. He's being given interviews. Maybe he'll start getting calls and cards from crazy cat ladies like Luigi Mangione. NBC News high school student Marcelo Gomez da Silva spoke with NBC News' Tom Lemus to describe his experience being detained by ICE. He was detained by ICE on the way to volleyball. They were looking for his father and realized his visa had expired. They leave out where the judge let him go because he didn't think he was a danger. Oh, he's using our resources. He's 18 years old. He's got no business in this country. But the judge is going to decide to give him extra rights. More than American citizens. Just go out there and have a good time. Live your life. Here we go. There's Andrew Brink at the top. Anti-ICE rioters. Here we are. Caught on camera, handing out tactical gear. That's the face mask business. Kristi Noem said they're going to be tracking it down. Here, I've got a video of this young man right here. What's he saying? This is the guy that was handing out those face masks. He was apprehended. I did hear right about that last night.
Today we execute a search warrant on the individual who was seen earlier this week distributing face shields to suspected rioters down in Los Angeles. We have made it a huge priority to try to identify, locate, and arrest those who are involved in organizing, supporting, funding, or facilitating these riots that they're going on. It appears they're well orchestrated and coordinated and well funded, so we want to understand who these people are and where this organization is coming from. And today was one of those first arrests, the key arrests that we did.
Yeah, they got him. He's stewing in a jail cell. But once again, my question is, who will be the judge? Is he going to be a criminal? A criminal colluder? Collaborator? Ask what happened to collaborators in France after World War II. Warren condemns assault of Senator Padilla. Trump is making this nation look more and more like a fascist state. That's her own channel, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Outrageous comment. Trump had nothing to do with him crashing a press conference and behaving disorderly and having an outburst. But it is to maintain and build and maintain a narrative. Here's something for you all to look at. Somebody took a screenshot of this phone right here. Internship. Look, learn the essential skills you need to start your career in industries like public relations, public affairs, or marketing environment. What you'll need. You must be a Black, Asian, and minority ethnic background, defined as having some African, Afro-Caribbean, Asian, or other non-white heritage. I can see that's not American money, so if they were doing it in this country, they would be breaking the law. But I guess it's okay in other countries to be racist. Here we go. Talk about a narrative. Talk about a bunch of operatives who engage in this illegal psychological warfare. Midas Trash Network. Trump gets booed to his face at Kennedy Center. 500,000 views in 2 hours. The frothing at the mouth radical TDS lunatics and crazy cat ladies that smell like cat pee-pee and Febreze. They rush to this channel. They can't get enough. I watched the video. You couldn't tell if the people were booing. It sounded to me like everybody was having a good time welcoming him. But then the microphone got close to one nutcase that was hollering, "Convicted felon, convicted felon." One lunatic that I saw. The rest of the attendees were very happy to be there with the President of the United States. Oh, here's something else they could all celebrate. This was yesterday. Look. Hooray. Another one they could fall in love with and send flowers to. Judge rules Trump administration cannot continue to detain Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil, the one who was physically shoving Jewish students and would not allow them to go to their classes, who was participating in the takeover of buildings on college campuses. He's pushing 40 years old and claims he's a student. He's been revoked. He's out of here. Not according to this judge. A New Jersey federal judge. Why don't they say what it is? Some local district judge. Handpicked probably. Has issued a preliminary injunction. Well, at least it's not temporary restraining order. The Supreme Court told them to quit doing that because they're not appealable. Then judges could do like Boasberg and attempt to hold administration officials in criminal contempt if they don't listen to his unlawful orders. They're barring the Trump administration from deporting or continuing to detain Columbia University pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil. It'll be overturned. It'll be appeal. It's on appeal right now. Something's got to give. The courts have got to come up with something, or Trump will have to come up with it for them. That's what one of the two things are going to happen. Here you go. I got a longer clip, but I'm going to play this short clip. The governors are being, I guess you could say, interrogated by Congress. We're setting a table for what? The removal of some governors? I know Gavin Newsom is acting like he wants some of that business. Maybe we'll see. You don't see Tim Walz allowing a lot of stuff to go on in his state because I think he's on the razor's edge.
What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
Well, that.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to say that a woman like me is an adult human female, that men can't become women. You guys are the party of violence, and you're the party erasing women. You don't respect us. You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I didn't want to get a copyright. I got the longer clip where he looks like an idiot. He is the former vice presidential candidate. Former vice presidential candidate. What's this here? Let me see. FBI most wanted. There we go. FBI offers a reward, $25,000, and seeks the public's assistance in identifying the individuals responsible for assaulting federal officers and the theft of an FBI agent's badge on June 10th in Concord, California. You see him with the goofy pink hats on. It's a wonder they don't have the Palestinian dish rags. How long do you think they're going to stay free with $25,000 riding on it? ACLU should be disbanded and have their assets impounded. And every member of the ACLU should be put under review to see their past actions. Do they deserve a law license, or should they have it taken away? Know your protest rights. Do they put out something that says, know how to protest peacefully? Don't block traffic. Don't surround and terrorize motorists. Don't shove and spit on police officers. Don't throw rocks. Do they do that? No. They tell them. I'm not going to read it. I hope they don't read it themselves. And they make mistakes. This idiot I had yesterday. Some of these clips might be some language. I hope you all forgive me for it, but hey, you got to know thine enemy, right?
So, rumor is, if you throw rocks at any federal agents or their vehicles, it'll get you put on FBI's most wanted list. To which I say, how hard do I have to throw these rocks to get put on it? Because my 35th birthday is coming up, and it would be wonderful to get put on that list. It's been a goal of mine. And knowing that I can throw rubber projectiles with this doohickey right here about 100 miles an hour, imagine what I could do with a rock. You ever been domed with a rubber ball? Just a solid rubber ball? Oh, it'll knock you clean out. A rock? That'll shatter your fucking skull. The indigenous peoples called this game Bagataway, among many other names. One of them was Little Brother of War. Can you guess what I want to do? I want to go to war with federal agents. Fuck you, ICE.
Fuck you, Gestapo.
Okay. All right. You put yourself permanently on the record. I think you'll get extra time when you do what you say you're going to do. You creep. You POS. Here's one right here. I think you'll enjoy this.
You're like me and you're horrified by what's going on in California and the rest of the world. You're trying
Figure out a way that you can help stop ICE from taking innocent, undocumented immigrants, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do, and it rhymes with loot the Apple Store, or literally any other local business. This will help ensure that families stay together and are not ripped out of their homes and sent back to their home countries. You can also throw rocks at cars if you need to, but the looting, that's where you can make a difference. Also, you need to make sure to make this issue about freeing Palestine, because that's what this is. Undocumented immigrants and Palestine are interconnected. Everybody knows that. So go get yourself a new iPhone or an iPad or a new keffiyeh from Zara, and let's free stop ICE from what they're doing.
Of course, that was a spoof. That was a spoof. You know, things have been calm at a lot of places, and they have been calling for calm. They have been calling for people not to wave foreign flags because they know it hurts their message. And the only reason they're calling for peaceful behavior and for them to not wave foreign flags is because it damages their psychological operation. And also, the judge who is going to assume he has the power to tell the President of the United States what he can do as commander-in-chief, he'll say, well, things aren't that bad anyway. He didn't need to call it the National Guard like it's his call, right? Let me show you some of the behaviors that are leading to peace. Not only Trump deploying the military, but also the confidence given to local police that they can finally enforce the law. And the president has their back. Yeah, that was worth two runs. What do you think, folks? Hi, Steve. How you doing? Bambi's here. New Insight. Nice to see you. Whiskey. Nice to see you also. All right. I guess I got everybody. I hope I got everybody. So anyway, yeah, when you feel like the people have your back, the president has your back and respects you, you're not going to let people get away with that crap. Here's something the White House put out that I think you all will enjoy. It's informative. Check out how to do that little thing with the scissors and get a clip of this and send it to your friends.
Illegal immigrant in upstate New York has been arrested in the rape of a 15-year-old girl.
Accused of raping a 5-year-old girl.
An undocumented immigrant pleading guilty to a deadly stabbing in Troy.
2 undocumented migrants accused of sex trafficking a 15-year-old girl.
The 2 suspects, who authorities say are both in the country illegally, are facing charges of murder as well as gang assault.
New York currently spending $2 billion to deal with the border crisis, of course, because this is a sanctuary city, and they flow in.
And in Chicago, they so far have spent $300 million since 2023 on migrants.
Is Chicago a sanctuary city?
A 40-year policy of being a welcoming city.
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you.
It's the last
that's
4
why
years,
you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
you're providing an enormous amount of aid to illegal aliens, aiding and abetting criminals who have come into our country illegally.
Why are you letting rapists back out on the streets of Boston?
That is not true. That is not what's happening in Boston.
So you guys just snagged a previously deported, convicted child rapist. Is that unusual out here?
Not in Massachusetts. It's not unusual.
Look, I'm going to do everything that I can to protect our undocumented immigrants. They're residents of our state.
We say you are welcome here. You're welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe.
As long as I am governor of Minnesota, we will welcome immigrants with gratitude for their contributions to our communities.
This young man was killed by an illegal immigrant in Texas that never should have been in our country.
Lincoln Riley, Ruby Garcia, Rachel Morin, Joycelyn Nungaray, the woman set on fire in New York
subway, and other crimes that would not have taken the lives of these people if those people were not here illegally.
These policies only create sanctuary for criminals at the expense of the American people.
Our state policy, our state law, does not allow for our state police to be involved in those situations. We're not going to allow this mass deportation.
We also have a law in the books in Illinois that says that our local law enforcement will stand up for those law-abiding, undocumented people in our state who are doing the right thing. And we're not going to help federal officials just drag them away because somebody pointed at them.
We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute.
Why would you be proud of those why would you cheer those kind of policies? What kind of weirdos are we dealing with? Again, I want to apologize for the language, but people have enough. They've had enough. Okay? And this would be another good clip to send to a member, a mature member of your circle of friends or family members, if they want to know, well, why are conservatives so upset with liberals? I'll tell you why. He'll tell you why.
Anybody that supports ICE probably would have turned over Anne Frank, too. You guys supported vaccine passports. You fucking cheered when police shut down church services during COVID. You encouraged your neighbors to snitch on people. You guys legit created a fucking hotline to call and snitch on people if they had more than fucking 5 people over for Easter. You suggested that anybody who supports Trump should go to a re-education camp. You backed mask mandates for toddlers. You fucking doxed people for making political donations. You supported FBI surveillance of parents. You applauded arrests of political opponents. You guys are the real schmazzies. And you're fucking domestic terrorists to boot. You guys also made hate speech tip lines to report people who say shit that you don't like. You guys wanted to ban books about American history. We just wanted to ban books that had sexual content for children. And you want to know what? I wouldn't have turned Anne Frank over because she was a legal citizen.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? We're not going to just forgive and forget. We're going to rub it in your face. It needs to be rubbed in your face. Every day. Here's this idiot. Right here, a little bit longer of the clip of him. Look at him. Look at that face. Anyway, here's Nancy Mace asking him a few questions.
What don't you understand about yes or no? Like, what can't you comprehend about yes or no questions? Do you still want to abolish ICE? Do you still want to abolish ICE? Yes or no?
I said I wanted to abolish ICE.
Didn't you march in a rally calling for ICE's abolishment?
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Well, according to widespread media reports, you did.
And the media is always correct.
How do you rate Kamala Harris's job as border czar? I want a number between 1 and 10. How was she as border czar?
I wouldn't have a way to measure that. I was not in the administration.
Weren't you her running mate for vice president?
As in the campaign.
And you can't rate her role as border czar on a scale of 1 to 10. Was she great at 10 or was she a 1? Terrible.
I think her proposal that she put forward to make sure we had the bipartisan immigration.
It wasn't bipartisan. Did you ever personally speak with Kamala about Joe Biden's cognitive collapse?
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Not as her running mate for vice president. You never once talked to her about the president and why she was nominated instead of him.
No, not that I can recall.
What kind of operation were you guys running over there?
I was more concerned with Donald Trump's cognitive decline.
Thank God
things that we
he's president and J.D. Vance is vice president and not you. Have you ever served in a combat zone, Governor?
I have not, Congresswoman.
Okay. Are you still friends with school shooters?
I have never been a friend with a school shooter.
Didn't you say you were friends with school shooters on the debate stage?
Oh, Congresswoman.
Yeah.
I
Is
think that's very
bullying
evident.
is
As a teacher and a
bullying
parent.
is my mom was a teacher. I'm a high school dropout. We can talk about that later. Is bullying okay?
Is bullying okay as a teacher?
Is bullying okay? Yes or no? Is it okay to bully somebody?
I think
yes
there's
or
a
no?
time to push back at a bully. So yes, I do think there's a time.
So you think it's okay to bully others?
I think it's okay to bully the bully at times.
Well, you're showing that the Democrat Party is a party of violence. Were you at Tiananmen Square?
Have I been to Tiananmen Square? I have.
Were you at Tiananmen Square?
I have been at Tiananmen Square.
When were you there?
Oh, as I recall, January of 1990.
Okay. What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
Well, that.
What do you want me to say? This is.
I want you to say that a woman like me is an adult human female, that men can't become women. You guys are the party of violence, and you're the party erasing women. You don't respect us. You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. Mr. Chairman,
There you go. There you go, you creep. Here's I think this is Pritzker. Pritzker the Hut. You notice now they're all saying they don't want to apologize. They're saying that now. And I'll tell you, it doesn't, what they're saying now and what this judge rules about Gavin Newsom, it's not going to affect what's happened. The polls have shot up for Trump's policies, okay? It's not about Trump anymore. It's about our country, and people are starting to wake up and see it. They are so far down in the polls. They can backtrack, and somebody said earlier in the comments, they're backtracking. They can backtrack all they want. But they've lost initiative, and they are in the toilet bowl.
Do you think men should be allowed in women's restrooms?
I'm not sure why this has come to this issue.
You tweeted that as a protest against President Trump, everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today. Have you ever used the women's restroom?
Not that I can recall ever, sir. No.
You wanted everybody else to do it, but you didn't?
Sir, I'm not sure why we're on a topic that has nothing to do with today's hearing.
You're advocating for men to use women's restrooms, but you didn't do it?
I do not advocate that, no.
Well, actually, you did. You said everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today.
I can tell you that you are politicizing this in a way that what we ought to be focusing on is the failure of the federal government
to use women's restrooms
and the Congress to deal with immigration reform.
Do you regret encouraging men to use women's restrooms?
Again, you're taking us on topics that have.
Did you ever consider that women don't want you in their bathroom?
Why'd you bring it up then, Pritzker? Well, we're changing the topic. I'm talking about immigration reform. Then why are you on the record telling these protesters for men to go in women's bathrooms, if for no other reason than to cause tumult and defy the policies of the President of the United States? Don't act like it's some kind of surprise it was brought up. Yeah, it was Annette said they were backtracking, right? Yeah, backtrack all you want. I think your damage is done. Here is participation by ABC News. You see it up there in the top corner. This is what they published on UTizzle today. No Kings. No King's Day protests are set to take place in hundreds of cities across the U.S. Here's what to know. Swipe for more. Oh, is that what a news agency does? Advertises for these Subversives? The No Kings protests are to take place on Saturday in hundreds of U.S. cities. I hope it falls flat on its face. To coincide with the military parade in Washington. Oh, that's great. Disrupt the day for veterans. Disrupt the day for people who want to celebrate Flag Day and be proud of our nation and our military. You're wonderful, aren't you? 250th anniversary of the Army. It also happens to be President Trump's birthday. I got friends who were born Christmas Day. What do you claim they think they're Jesus? The Army birthday celebration had already been planned. Well, at least they got that right, but they have to try to rub it in. But earlier this spring, Trump announced his intention to include battle tanks that would roll through the streets of D.C. He has long sought a similar display of patriotic force. People fought and died in those tanks. It's part of our history. Here you go. Crazy cat ladies all lined up, smelling like an old litter box. Honk, support your Constitution. Honk for democracy. Now they're changing their tune. Instead of taco and orange man bad. No, they're for the Constitution and for democracy. Is that why you're sitting here mocking? Why is it called No Kings? Oh, thank you, ABC News, for educating everyone. Spreading propaganda. Mockingbird Media. One part of the illegal psychological warfare campaign, Mockingbird Media. It's just one department. The No Kings theme was orchestrated by the 50-51 movement. I've never heard of that. Why are you promulgating DNC talking points? You're an arm of the Democratic National Committee. You're giving campaign contributions. 50 states, 50 protests, one movement. Okay. Nice advertising for free. Protests earlier this year have denounced Trump and billionaire advisor Elon Musk, the new former leader of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, a government organization designed to slash federal spending. Protesters have called for Trump to be dethroned. Oh, he's a king. As they compare his actions to that of a king and not a democratically elected president. Well, that's exactly what the hell he is. Live with it. Here you go. In case anyone needs to know, how can I get a hold of somebody where I can be a crazy cat lady too? Protests in nearly 2,000 locations scheduled around the country, from city blocks to small towns, from courthouse steps. I got to get out there and give the finger. When I'm finished watching the parade and giving my support for the parade, courthouse steps to community parks, according to the No Kings website. Oh, thank you for advertising their website. No protests are scheduled to take place in D.C., where the military parade will be held. The group says it will make action everywhere else a story of America that day. What do you want to bet? The media, the usual suspects, will be focusing on these misfits, malcontents, and miscreants rather than our armed forces and our duly elected president. Why? Because they're subversives. They're collaborators. That's why. You want ratings? Right here. If you put Hillary's arrest on pay-per-view, you could settle the national debt. Yeah, she opened her mouth. That's buried somewhere in all my clips that I have, and they had to turn the comments off because people are like, what are you, a nut? And she happens to be a nut. Yeah, she's criminally insane. Criminally insane. Here's a collection of this theater this Alex Padilla put up. I wonder what his story. Here's a collection of all his crap, talking about no one is above the law. The law applies to every American, including former presidents. On and on it goes. Yeah, well, you broke the law, buddy, and you know it. Why would you go somewhere dressed like an undercover agent, a civilian clothes, and not have your security pin that you know you're supposed to wear? And have an outburst and behave disorderly? Why would you do that? Well, you broke the law. Just remember, nobody's above the law. So let's see what happens to you. My question again, who will be the judge? Are they going to let him walk? What's this one? Dan Bongino. With regard to the incident in LA this afternoon, the senator in question was not wearing a security pin and physically resisted law enforcement when confronted. Our FBI personnel acted completely appropriately while assisting Secret Service, and we are grateful for their professionalism and service. I didn't hear too many news outlets read that. Maybe they caught up to it by now. Here's Clandestine's opinion. The Dems mainstream media are now claiming that the Padilla situation crossed a red line. Meanwhile, in reality, the Biden regime raided Trump's home, indicted him, arrested him, tried to imprison him, tried to bankrupt him, and then tried to KILL him. We don't care about you, Padilla. I'm wondering what your story is. How come we have so many congressmen and women that weren't even born in this country? What's the story about that? And remember, naturalized citizens that conduct insurrection or rebellion can at any time have their citizenship stripped and be removed from the country. Pretty significant post from Trump. This was before the attack by Israel. Sounds like diplomatic negotiations with Iran are back on. Did Trump just convince Israel to stand down again? Trump put out this statement just before the attack. We remain committed to diplomatic resolution to the Iran nuclear issue. My entire administration has been directed to negotiate with Iran. They could be a great country, but they must first completely give up hopes of obtaining a nuclear weapon. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And as you know, Israel struck anyway. Oh, diamond and silk. And, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care how the message gets out. We call it Mockingbird media. I'm pointing out that is just one facet of the propaganda machine. It's one facet of the psychological warfare campaign. One arrow in their quiver. Just in coordinated messaging campaign pushing anti-ICE narrative is exposed. A curious similarity in anti-ICE messaging from liberal online influencers is Right Midas Trash Network, Right Justice Impact, Right Dopey David Pakman, is raising questions about whether a coordinated messaging campaign is being funded to denounce President Trump's mass deportations. Yes, Mockingbird Media is one, and online influencers being influenced, paid performers, is another. Posobiec. The murder of Molly Tibbetts was a Mexican illegal who worked on a dairy farm in Iowa. Oh, they're just honest people trying to earn a living. Remember the first time they arrested Christy Noma announced the guy they arrested on alleged suspicion of red rum, okay? He was hanging drywall at the Villages in Florida. Oh, he's just a worker. This guy was just working on a dairy farm. Well, they're doing things on the side. Trump put out, thank you to everyone for being so generous yesterday at the Kennedy Center. We raised over $10 million for its restoration, a record. In addition, the actors and actresses in Les Miserables were incredible. The show could not be better or more beautiful. It's running for another 3 weeks. Don't you think that those actors and actresses aren't going to be very thankful for Donald Trump for drawing attention to their efforts and their presentation? Of course, they're going to increase ticket sales. The quality of your viewers will go up instead of having a bunch of smelly liberals that can't take showers because they all push for this water restrictions. You'll have normal people coming to watch your show. Incompetent Gavin Newsom should have been thanking me for the job we did in Los Angeles, rather than making sad excuses for the poor job he has done. If it weren't for me getting the National Guard in Los Angeles, it would be burning to the ground right now. Ain't that the truth? That's what they want. How else are they going to accelerate the own nothing and be happy goal that they have? Here is another example. Not only just the police, when they feel confident, they feel people have their back, when they feel they're on the side of right, that right makes might. Here you have a ne'er-do-well, misfit, miscreant causing trouble. Watch what happens to him. That was a citizen who was tired of seeing people being abused by a bunch of malcontents. Here, look here. 25 people being smuggled. Ain't that something? That 911 there goes right over top that 911. Ain't that something? But anyway, yeah. Somebody went to jail over this. I wonder who.
Okay. Is it in park? Okay. It's still right there for me. So what happened?
I was trying to get up, and then he said that he denied me, and I didn't.
Okay. You just don't remember? Houston. Oh, you headed where? Oh, you headed to Houston? Pero vienes de dónde? Alton. Oh, pues ¿qué estás haciendo allá? Two matches. Okay. You got him back there? Okay. You mind me seeing? Okay, we'll see in a little bit. She drove from Houston to the valley just to pick up 2 mattresses. And she's got them in the back of the truck. And the truck is locked. They're in there? Okay. How many, qué tantos gente ahí está adentro?
People.
Oh. ¿Tantos más? ¿Mande? Uno? ¿Estás bien, mijo? ¿Estás bien? Sí, okay? Hey, Charles, 1550 Live. Can you get EMS this way? We got young kids too. Agua. ¿No hay que agua? Agua. Sálgase. Sálgase.
times 25. There she is. What's her name? Sylvia Patricia Santa Maria on Houston, Texas. So ship her back, and she looked like she had a bun in the oven. Boy, that's a strategy, isn't it? Now here we got some confident patriots. Okay? Right makes might. When you feel that you're in the right, you know you're in the right, and that the President of the United States will fight for you and will not back down. What do you do? What do? You stand up. Ha ha ha! Yeah, he's trying to get rough with those girls. We'll see how far he gets with that. Here's what CNN. You know what? I'll say it's a Truth and Reconciliation Act being enforced. There's that news anchor. You see her there? The first time we saw her, it was a 5 a.m. in the morning correction that they had to post. CNN had to post. And she was the news anchor at 5 a.m. And I said, well, she's up and coming. But right now she's doing the red eye broadcast. Well, now she's prime time. But anyway, they're making them put up the correct version of what the legal implications are for this senator who was disturbing the peace and disorderly conduct.
Point. This is a federal building. You can't just, wander in there necessarily. What reporting do you have, and how should we, in your view, be analyzing how we're seeing these agents respond?
Well, it's easy to think about this as one incident, but actually from a law enforcement perspective, we're really looking at 3 separate incidents that happened within a short period of time. First, you have the DHS secretary who is addressing the press. This was not a Q&A period, and she's interrupted. She's interrupted by someone who is speaking very loudly, and so her security detail confronts what we obviously now know to be the senator, and at that point, he is now going to be escorted out. You can't interrupt something like that that's already in progress without having those consequences. But the second incident, in my view, happens the moment as officers are trying to lead him out, he then turns and walks back towards kind of into those agents. At that point, from a security detail perspective, we're taking this person out against their will. We've asked the person, and again, this is all happening very quickly, but the moment he then turns into them, they realize this is not someone who is going to comply.
Yeah, they're not making excuses for him. He made an idiot of himself. But with these remnants of the TDS freaks, they'll still clutch their pearls and act like something terrible was done to a senator who didn't deserve it. He deserved every bit of it. But here is Brooklyn, New York. Here is what you see are referred to normally as useful idiots. Okay? They don't know what's going on. They have no principles. They have no responsibilities. They've been living a life of sloth. Free Obama phones and TikTok videos. Being called out to be disruptive on the streets. But when you're tough, when you hear the sound of law enforcement, They hear that siren and start running like hell. And that's because they've been seeing videos of people getting wood shampoos, getting tackled, getting taken out. You got to have law and order. Man, we've gone an hour and a half already. I hope y'all remember to give me a thumbs up. The roaches scatter. That's right. Justin, how you doing? TJ, nice to see you. Yeah, Trump, that's right, Miss Sue. The D penalty, the ultimate penalty for child trafficking. What's going on in L.A.? Are they still tearing stuff up? Because they're operatives that incite will follow orders and not wave foreign flags to try to tone things down. But they've unleashed the lawlessness from people who are not tied in to the operations. How are they going to get over that? How are they going to overcome that? What's this one here? Let me see what this video is. Oh, here we go again. Another Truth and Reconciliation Act video, I believe. This is the Los Angeles police chief on CNN. They got to sit there and listen to it.
They have weapons of all kinds. We arrested a number of people last night for curfew violations. I think 14, and 3 out of the 14 were armed with weapons, handguns. And so when you look at that, what appears to be one thing is something very different. We've seen in those backpacks that they'll have hammers, they'll break up curbstones and concrete bollards, break up into smaller pieces, which they'll then throw at police. They put them in backpacks and walk around like that. I've seen somebody today walking around with golf balls in a backpack. So all sorts of weapons, all very potentially dangerous. We've seen commercial-grade fireworks being fired at our people, with shrapnel being put in, from what I'm told, and into some of these packages. Again, that is pretty scary stuff when you look at it. Liquid being thrown on our officers, the attitude of our officers and the professionalism and restraint that they've shown is remarkable. They've done a tremendous job out there, and I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, CNN has got to put it out there. These are dangerous people. They're putting out dangerous stuff. All bolstering what Trump had to do. Call out the National Guard. Here's one of the reasons right here. AutoPen. Who put him up to it? Is this even Joe?
What I would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we
surge to the border. All those people asking for asylum. That's interesting, Joe. Let me see. I don't even know what this one is. It's black clip. You know how I feel about these black clips? Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me see. What's this one? I got these clips. I might as well play them. What is this? Oh, this is that plane that crashed. This is a different view of the plane that crashed in India. One person survived. I'm sure most of you have already heard about it, but I want to show you this different angle. And it got to 625 feet and started to drop like a rock. It couldn't get the requisite airspeed. And one analyst I listened to said he heard a system they call RAT, a rat system being deployed. These are things that pop out from under the fuselage and they're propellers. They're called rapid air turbines. Rapid air turbines, when a plane gets in distress, it gives a push, an assist. And he said that he couldn't tell from the fuzzy video if they got deployed or not, but he said he could hear them. But anyway, here's another view of that plane crash. It had full tanks. It was heading to the UK, and as I've discussed in past broadcasts, the wings are where the gas tanks are. And here's a video of one guy that survived. You know where his seat was located? Just absolute miracle. His seat was located on the left-hand side of the plane at the very front edge of the wing. If he were to look out his window, he would have seen behind him the airplane wing. So, just a miracle. Everyone else lost their lives. He said when he when he got out, there were bodies all around. Here he is wandering over to the ambulance under his own power. I'm trying to see if this was what he had. He gave an interview. Let me see. His name is Ramesh, last name. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh was the sole survivor of the Air India Boeing 787 crash. According to India Today, Ramesh says there was a loud noise after takeoff. It could have been sabotage. 30 seconds after takeoff, there was a loud noise, and then the plane crashed. It happened so quickly, he said to the Hindustan Times. When I got up, there were bodies all around me. I was scared. I stood up and ran. There were pieces of a plane all around me. Someone grabbed hold of me and put me in an ambulance and brought me to the hospital. He's a British national and was visiting family in India. He was reportedly sitting towards the front seat in 11A, more like center front, right at the edge of the front edge of the left wing. So, yeah, it's quite a story. Wow. Well, I got a lot of stuff from Mr. T. What this dopey Judge Boasberg is up to that I was going to focus on until Israel struck. Here was a clip I got. Off of Russian television. It's very short. I'm sure there's going to be more strikes back and forth, I'm afraid. But General Flynn put this out. Attention, Israel at General Flynn. Israeli Defense Forces targets and current situation. Sitrep. Israeli Defense Forces are targeting top Iranian political and science officials, going after the Oppenheimers. There are reports of incoming Iranian ballistic missiles inbound to Israel. 3 top Iranian nuclear sites are being hit in Iran. IDF targeting nuclear research facility reactors. Destruction of these reactors do not pose the danger major nuclear plants do. This is where Iran uranium enrichment takes place. In Iraq, Psyop, Baghdad International Airport, is reportedly being hit, as well as Iraq, and Iraq is closing its airspace. Hitting Psyop is most likely hitting Iranian military personnel in Iraq. Why are they there? Iranian Chief of Staff, Kia, see photo below, which I'll put up in a second. Enough for now. Daybreak is occurring. Target damage assessment as well as massive diplomatic fallout will play out in the hours and days ahead. This is far from over. Action, reaction, counteraction. Hi, Cola, how you doing? Here he is right here. Oh, come on now. What is going on? Oh, my. Flag of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. War results when political leaders fail. The United States of America cannot get mixed down in another Middle East war. China is eating our lunch, and we have to get America back to fighting strength. Is that why Trump distanced himself? There's the general. What's his name? Whatever his name was earlier. There he is. Let me see. Who's he with? Let me see. What was his name? He's the Iranian Chief of Staff. Okay. Well, we'll see if he still exists. Probably a prime target. And Marco Rubio put out this statement. For immediate release. Tonight, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in the strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear. Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. They're going to have their hands full with Israel. I can't imagine that they're going to provoke America. But that is why I played the drone video at the beginning of this video. The drone attack in Russia shows you how easy it can be for a nation with its guard down to be severely damaged with some rudimentary technology nowadays. Localas, how you doing? Cola, how you doing? Did I see a posts about, no, I didn't see anything about, no, I don't think it was a false flag. The plane that crashed, you had India and Pakistan had a very nasty situation going on. Okay? And the agents of chaos are opportunists. They just want chaos. And how can India know that it wasn't Pakistan? And Pakistan may not have a daggone thing to do with it. But the agents of chaos don't care. They just want fear and chaos. So sabotage is something, in my mind, because it damages Boeing, an American interest. It creates suspicion with India and Pakistan and creates chaos. So anyway, this is the announcement made by Israel. I guess that's their version of chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. And I'm going to go ahead and play that on my way out. I've been up almost 2 hours. Anyway, I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. And I want to thank Miss Mindersu for sponsoring my broadcast last night at Buy Me a Coffee. And also, this week was Mike and Bev, William, Pappy, Wayne. Earlier was hilarious too, and my friend Gary, which I hadn't seen, probably out baby drilling. So anyway, and Norm, I appreciate you helping out also. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. So anyway, folks, enjoy this clip. I hope you find it informative, and I will be broadcasting again tomorrow night. You all stay safe. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
For years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the State of Israel, planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. This morning, the IDF began preemptive and precise strikes targeting the Iranian nuclear program in order to prevent the Iranian regime's ability to build a nuclear bomb in the immediate time frame. We have no choice. We are operating against an imminent and existential threat. We cannot allow the Iranian regime to obtain a nuclear weapon that would be a danger to Israel and the entire world. This operation is for our right to exist here, for our future and for our children's future. The State of Israel has the right and the obligation to operate in order to protect its people and will continue to do so. The IDF conducted significant preparations for this operation. We are well prepared, both in defense and offense, to defend ourselves. The IDF will continue to defend the State of Israel.